The salvage ship Horizon's Edge drifted silently through the debris field, its spotlights cutting through the darkness of deep space to illuminate twisted metal and frozen fragments of what was once a thriving research station. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge viewport, her experienced eyes scanning the wreckage for anything valuable enough to justify their 3-month journey to this remote sector. "Another dead end," muttered Technical Officer James Rodriguez from his station, his fingers dancing across holographic displays as he analyzed the debris. Radiation signatures suggest this place was abandoned at least 50 years ago, probably picked clean by now. Sarah wasn't so sure. Something about this field felt different. The debris pattern wasn't random. It spiraled outward from a central point, as if something had burst from within the station. And there was something else, a faint energy reading that didn't match any known power signatures in their database. "Take us in closer to the core section," she ordered, trusting her instincts. 20 years of deep space salvage had taught her that the best finds often came from following her gut. As they maneuvered deeper into the field, the ship's sensors began picking up more unusual readings. The central section of the station was largely intact, its hull scarred by what looked like massive energy discharges. But instead of the cold emptiness they expected, there was heat. And something more. "Captain, I'm detecting crystalline structures throughout the central hub," called out Science Officer Dr. Maya Patel, her voice tight with excitement. "But these aren't normal crystal formations. They're pulsing, almost like they're alive." Before Sarah could respond, a massive shape shifted in the darkness beyond their spotlights. The entire bridge crew fell silent as something emerged from behind the station's core, something that defied explanation. It was enormous, easily twice the length of their ship. Its body appeared to be composed of living crystal, faceted surfaces catching and refracting their spotlights in dazzling patterns. The creature's form was vaguely dragon-like, with long crystalline wings now cracked and dulled, and a serpentine neck that ended in a head crowned with spikes of pure diamond. But what struck Sarah most were its eyes, deep pools of swirling energy that spoke of ancient intelligence and profound pain. The creature was wounded, that much was clear. Great chunks of its crystalline body were shattered or missing entirely, and the energy that seemed to flow through its form flickered erratically, like a failing power core. "My God," whispered Rodriguez. "What is it?" The creature's eyes fixed on their ship, and suddenly every display on the bridge lit up with complex patterns of energy. Sarah felt a pressure in her mind, not painful but insistent, as if something vast and ancient was trying to make contact. "It's trying to communicate," Dr. Patel said, her fingers flying over her console. "These energy patterns, they're not random. They're a language, but unlike anything we've ever encountered." Sarah made a decision. Standard protocol when encountering unknown alien life was to retreat and notify Fleet Command. But one look at those ancient, pain-filled eyes told her that protocol would mean death for this magnificent creature. Whatever it was, whatever had happened here, she couldn't just leave it to die alone in the void. "Maya, work on decoding those patterns. Rodriguez, start scanning for any signs of pursuit or monitoring devices. This thing's wounds didn't come from nowhere." She turned to her first officer, Michael Chung. "Prep the cargo bay. We're going to need all the space we can get." "Captain," Chung said carefully, "are you suggesting we try to bring that thing aboard? We don't know what it is, where it came from, or what happened here. For all we know, it could be dangerous." Sarah watched as another pulse of energy rippled through the creature's crystalline form, weaker than the last. "Look at it, Michael. Really look. That's not just some animal. Those eyes hold intelligence, wisdom. And someone or something tried to destroy it. I don't know about you, but I'd like to know why." She turned to address the entire bridge crew. "I know this isn't what any of us expected to find out here, but we're human beings, and we don't leave intelligent life to die in the void when we can help. Whatever this creature is, whatever its story might be, it needs our help. And maybe, just maybe, helping it will lead us to something far more valuable than salvage." The creature's eyes remained fixed on their ship, and Sarah could have sworn she saw a flicker of hope in those ancient depths. Whatever they were about to get involved in, she knew their lives would never be the same. But then, wasn't that why they'd all chosen to venture into the deep dark of space? To find something extraordinary, something that would change everything they thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. "All right, people," she said, straightening her shoulders. "Let's make first contact. And let's do it right." The cargo bay of the Horizon's Edge had never been designed to house something so magnificent or so large. The crystalline dragon barely fit, its vast form taking up nearly every square meter of available space. Its wings were carefully folded against its body, the damaged crystal surfaces casting rainbow refractions across the metal walls. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the creature, surrounded by hastily assembled translation equipment and scanning devices. The dragon's eyes tracked her movements with an intensity that should have been frightening, but somehow wasn't. Instead, she felt an overwhelming sense of curiosity, both from the creature and within herself. "The energy patterns are becoming more coherent," she reported into her comm unit. "It's learning, adapting its communication attempts to match our technology. The intelligence we're dealing with here is extraordinary." Captain Chen's voice crackled back. "Any progress on actual communication?" Before Maya could respond, every screen in the cargo bay flickered to life simultaneously. Patterns of light danced across them, gradually resolving into recognizable symbols, then into words. Gratitude, danger, pursuing. "Captain," Maya called out, her heart racing. "We have contact." The dragon's crystalline form pulsed with weak energy as more words appeared. "I am Sayentil, last of the Histel guardians. They huntinani, must not find." Sarah Chen arrived in the cargo bay just as these words appeared. She stepped forward, addressing the dragon directly. "Who's hunting you? Why?" The creature's response came in longer, more complex sequences. "My kind once, mane inte balance in Galaxy. Curwistel meteoric beings, drawing power from cestiaras themselves, but others feared our power. Hunted us, corrupted our purpose." The dragon, Sentinel, shuddered, causing small fragments of crystal to fall from its damaged form. Maya's scanner showed dangerous fluctuations in its energy patterns. "It's weakening," she warned. "The damage to its crystalline matrix is severe. Without its ability to properly channel stellar energy, it's essentially starving." Rodriguez, who had been quietly working nearby, suddenly straightened. "Captain, we've got a problem. Long-range sensors are picking up quantum distortions. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, heading this way. Their energy signatures, they're military grade." Sarah's mind raced. They had maybe 20 minutes before those ships arrived, and a wounded alien creature of unknown power in their cargo bay. The safe play would be to abandon it, to flee and pretend they'd never made this discovery. But one look at Sentinel's eyes, those ancient, intelligent eyes, and she knew she couldn't do that. "Maya, what do you need to stabilize it?" The scientist blinked in surprise. "Theoretically, its matrix appears to work like a massive energy conversion system. If we could rig something to channel power directly into its core structure." "The fusion drive," Rodriguez interrupted. "We could modify the output conduits, create a direct feed. It won't be as powerful as stellar energy, but temporary solution acceptable." The words flashed across the screens. "But hunters possess technology to track matrix signature. Can not hide." Sarah smiled grimly. "Then we don't hide." "Rodriguez, how quickly can you modify our hull plating to mask energy signatures?" "The salvage shields. Maybe 15 minutes, but they're not designed for." "Do it," she ordered. "Maya, work with Sentinel on the energy feed. I want options by the time those ships arrive." She turned to the massive crystalline being. We're not abandoning you, but we need to trust each other. Are you willing to trust humans? The dragon's response was immediate. Watching. Learning. Humans different. Where there is fear power, you seek and where others destroy, you atmpt to ahel. Trust, givn. As her crew scrambled to prepare for what was coming, Sarah felt the weight of that trust. They were about to go up against unknown forces, risking everything to protect a creature they barely understood. But somehow, she knew it was the right choice. The next 20 minutes were a blur of activity. Rodriguez's team worked frantically to modify the hull plating while Maya and her scientists rigged a dangerous but workable connection between the ship's fusion drive and Sentinel's crystal matrix. The Dragon's guidance proved invaluable, its vast knowledge helping them avoid potentially catastrophic mistakes. Just as the first quantum signatures appeared on their short-range sensors, Sarah felt a new presence in her mind. Not intrusive, but supportive. Sentinel was sharing something with her, a glimpse of what was possible when humans and stellar guardians work together. They come, flashed across the screens. But we are not PRI. We are not weak. Together, we are Imor. Sarah took her place on the bridge, watching as the first hostile ships emerged from FTL. Whatever came next, they would face it together, humans and their extraordinary new ally, united in defiance of those who would destroy something simply because they feared what they couldn't control. All hands, she announced shipwide, prepare for combat maneuvers. Let's show them what happens when they underestimate both humanity and the last stellar guardian. The pursuing vessels emerged from quantum space like predators breaking through waves, sleek, deadly, and radiating purpose. Their hulls gleamed with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, and their weapons systems hummed with barely contained power. 5 ships in total, arranged in an attack formation that left no obvious escape route. Those aren't normal military vessels, Rodriguez said from his station, voice tight with tension. Their energy signatures are off the charts. And those weapons. I've never seen anything like them. Sarah kept her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Maya, how's our guest doing? The fusion drive link is holding, Maya reported from the cargo bay. Sentinel's matrix is stabilizing, but slowly. We need more time. The comm system crackled to life with a transmission from the lead pursuit vessel. The language was unlike anything they'd heard before, but their universal translator struggled to convert it. Human vessel, you harbor a fugitive entity. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. This is your only warning. Sarah felt that now familiar presence in her mind. Sentinel, sharing knowledge, showing her what these ships were capable of. The weapons they carried weren't designed to destroy ships, but to shatter crystal matrices, to tear apart beings like Sentinel at their very core. Not happening, she transmitted back. We've claimed salvage rights on this sector. Whatever quarrel you have with our friend here, it's our business now. A harsh laugh came over the comm. Foolish humans, you meddle in affairs beyond your understanding. The stellar guardians were a plague upon this galaxy, attempting to control forces that were never meant to be controlled. We are the preservers, and we will not allow their kind to rise again. Through their strengthening mental link, Sentinel shared a flash of memory. Countless crystal beings like itself, working in harmony with the natural forces of space, guiding stellar evolution, preventing supernovas, helping young civilizations survive their first steps into space. Then came the Preservers, a coalition of species who feared what they couldn't understand, couldn't control. They hadn't wanted guardians. They had wanted power. Show them. Sentinel's words flashed across every screen. Show them, no humans and guardians can achieve together. Sarah smiled grimly. Rodriguez, are those hull modifications ready? Yes, but they're not tested. No idea if they'll actually work. Maya, route all non-essential power to Sentinel's matrix. Michael, Plot us a course directly through their formation. Aim for the gap between the lead ship and its port wingman." Her crew looked at her like she'd lost her mind, but they moved to comply. That was the beauty of humanity. Even in the face of impossible odds, they were willing to try the insane if someone they trusted asked them to. The pursuing ships began to move, tightening their formation to cut off any escape route. But Sarah had seen something in Sentinel's memories, something about how the stellar guardians had once danced between stars. With the dragon's power beginning to flow through their ship's systems, perhaps they could do the same. "All hands, brace for high-G maneuvers," Sarah announced. "Maya, tell our friend it's time to show us what a guardian can really do." The Horizon's Edge surged forward, its modified hull plates now vibrating with crystalline energy. The pursuing ships opened fire, but their matrix-shattering weapons seemed confused by the hybrid energy signature the human vessel now emanated. Several shots went wide, while others scattered harmlessly across their hull. Through the mental link, Sarah felt Sentinel's power flow, not just through the ship's systems, but through its very structure. The metal itself began to resonate with crystalline energy, becoming something neither fully human technology nor Guardian Matrix, but something new entirely. The ship moved in ways that should have been impossible, crystal energy streams trailing behind it like the wings of a dragon. They dove between the enemy vessels, the hybrid resonance of their hull causing the Preserver's targeting systems to fail catastrophically. "Their weapons can't get a lock," Rodriguez shouted triumphantly. "Whatever we're doing, it's working." But the Preservers weren't done. The enemy ships began to emit a high-frequency energy pulse that made every crystal surface on the Horizon's Edge vibrate painfully. In the cargo bay, Sentinel roared, a sound that somehow carried through the vacuum of space itself. "Breaking matrix lock." The words flashed urgently. "Must complete bond." "What does that mean?" Sarah demanded, even as their ship shuddered under another barrage. Maya's voice came back, filled with both excitement and fear. "Captain, Sentinel suggesting something unprecedented. A full integration between its matrix and our ship's systems. Not just an energy feed, a true symbiosis between Guardian and human technology. The structural stress could tear us apart," Rodriguez warned. "Or it could give us exactly what we need." Sarah countered. She addressed the cargo bay cameras directly. "Sentinel, are you sure about this? There's no record of your kind ever attempting something like this with humans before." The response came not in words on screens, but directly into the minds of every crew member. "That is what it will work. Humans do not FEA or DE even known. You embrace it. You do not even from change. You'd create it. Together, we'd be so amazed something in you." Sarah looked at her crew, saw the same determination in their eyes that she felt in her heart. "Do it." The cargo bay erupted with crystalline light as Sentinel's matrix began to merge with the ship's systems. The metal hull of the Horizon's Edge started to transform, organic crystal patterns spreading like frost across its surface. In the space of heartbeats, human and Guardian technology became one, creating something the galaxy had never seen before. The Preserver's ships hung in space, their sensors overwhelmed by what they were witnessing. The Horizon's Edge was no longer just a salvage vessel. It was becoming a hybrid creature, a symphony of human ingenuity and Guardian power. And as Sarah felt the ship respond to both her commands and Sentinel's guidance, she knew the real battle was about to begin. The Horizon's Edge hung in space, transformed into something that defied conventional understanding. Crystalline formations had merged seamlessly with the metal hull, creating flowing patterns that pulsed with internal energy. The ship's very structure had become a hybrid of human engineering and Guardian matrix, each system enhanced by the other's strengths. In the newly crystallized bridge, Sarah Chen felt the ship respond to her thoughts as much as her commands. Through their shared connection with Sentinel, every crew member experienced a deeper awareness of their vessel and each other. They weren't just operating the ship anymore. They were part of it. Multiple weapons locks, Rodriguez reported, his voice calm despite the situation. The tactical displays now projected directly from crystalline growths, showing the preservers' ships moving to surround them again. They're charging something big. Energy readings are going off the scale. The preservers' transmission cut through their comms again. What you have done is an abomination. Human and Guardian were never meant to merge. You will be cleansed. All 5 enemy ships began to pulse with a sickly green energy. Through their link with Sentinel, the crew understood what was coming. A concentrated matrix-shattering burst designed to tear apart the crystalline structure of their hybrid ship. But Sentinel wasn't afraid. If anything, Sarah felt a surge of excitement from the ancient being. Now, do we is a show with them. True evolution. Sentinel's thoughts resonated through the ship. Human adaptation. Guardian power. Something they cannot redic. Sarah understood. The preservers were so focused on maintaining what they saw as the natural order that they'd become stagnant, predictable. But humans thrived on change, on pushing boundaries. And now, they had the power of a stellar guardian to work with. Maya, how are the crystal matrix integrations holding? Sarah asked, already forming a plan. Better than we could have hoped, Maya replied from her station, where crystalline displays swirled with complex data. The fusion drive's output has been amplified tenfold by the Guardian Matrix. We're generating more power than their entire fleet combined. Rodriguez, what about those modifications we made to mask our energy signature? A grin spread across his face as he caught her meaning. With the crystal matrix, we could probably do a lot more than just mask it. We could redirect it, reflect it, mirror it back. Sarah finished. Sentinel, can we do it? The answer came in a flood of technical knowledge, showing them exactly how to turn the preserver's own weapons against them. The crystal matrix could act as a perfect mirror for their energy weapons, but it would take split-second timing and perfect coordination between human and Guardian technology. Sarah felt the ship's systems align with her intention. The crystalline hull began to shift, facets realigning themselves like scales on a dragon. All hands, prepare for emergency maneuvers. This is going to get interesting. The preservers fired their weapon, a massive burst of green energy that twisted space itself as it approached. But instead of trying to evade, the horizon's edge turned to face it head-on. The transformed ship's crystal metal hull began to glow with an inner light, each facet precisely aligned. When the energy burst hit, it didn't shatter their matrix as intended. Instead, the hybrid hull caught it, channeled it through the crystal structures, and amplified it with their own fusion power. The result was spectacular. The burst reflected back at the preserver fleet, but now it carried traces of human engineering mixed with Guardian power. The preserver's shields, calibrated to project against normal weapons, couldn't handle this hybrid energy. 2 of their ships took direct hits, their hulls crackling with uncontrolled power as their systems overloaded. The remaining 3 scattered, their formation broken. But Sarah and Sentinel weren't done. The horizon's edge moved with impossible grace, crystal wings of energy extending from its hull as it pursued the fleeing ships. They weren't just fighting back. They were showing the preservers exactly what they feared most. Proof that evolution and adaptation were stronger than stagnation and control. Their shields are destabilizing, Rodriguez reported with satisfaction. They never expected to face their own weapons. Through their mental link, Sentinel shared another memory. Countless civilizations that had been denied Guardian guidance because of the preserver's interference. Young species that could have benefited from the Guardian's wisdom, forced instead to face the dangers of space alone. The preservers hadn't been preserving anything. They'd been holding the galaxy back. Together, we SHOWNEUA. Sentinel's thoughts resonated through the ship. Not control. Not FER. Cooperation. Growth. The remaining preserver ships tried to regroup, their weapons charging for another attack. But now the horizon's edge had their measure. The hybrid ship's crystal matrix pulsed with power as both human and Guardian technology worked in perfect harmony. "Let's finish this," Sarah said, feeling her crew's agreement through their shared connection. "Show them what happens when you try to stop evolution." The Horizon's Edge surged forward, its crystalline hull blazing with the combined power of human innovation and Guardian wisdom. They weren't just fighting to survive anymore. They were fighting to prove that the future belonged to those willing to embrace change, to work together, to become something greater than the sum of their parts. And as they closed in on the remaining preserver ships, Sarah knew they were making history. This wasn't just a battle. It was the beginning of a new era for both humanity and the last of the stellar guardians. The remaining preserver ships hung against the backdrop of space, their once pristine hulls now scared and crackling with residual energy. Through the hybrid systems of the Horizon's Edge, Sarah and her crew could sense the confusion and fear emanating from their opponents. Everything the preservers had believed about the natural order of the galaxy was being challenged by what they witnessed. "They're powering up their quantum drives," Rodriguez reported, monitoring the crystalline displays. "Looks like they're preparing to retreat." But before the preservers could flee, a new transmission cut through their communications. "Wait, perhaps we were wrong." The voice belonged to the preserver commander, and it carried something none of them had expected: humility. Sarah felt Sentinel's surprise echo through their shared connection. In all the centuries of conflict, no preserver had ever admitted to error. "They begin to understand." Sentinel's thoughts resonated through the ship. "Show them final truth." Sarah nodded, understanding what needed to be done. "Open a channel to all preserver ships," she ordered. "And Sentinel, show them everything." Through their merged technology, the Horizon's Edge began broadcasting not just communications, but memories. The crystal matrix, amplified by human ingenuity, became a conduit for truth. The preservers witnessed the full history of the stellar guardians, not as fearsome entities to be controlled, but as nurturing guardians who had helped countless civilizations survive their first steps into the cosmos. They saw ancient suns stabilized, allowing life-bearing worlds to evolve undisturbed. They watched as Guardian wisdom guided young species away from self-destruction. And most importantly, they'd witnessed the present moment. Humans and a Guardian working in perfect harmony, creating something new and wonderful instead of fighting to maintain old boundaries. "We believed we were protecting the galaxy," the Preserver Commander transmitted, their voice heavy with realization. "But we were really just afraid. Afraid of change, of evolution, of losing control." "It's not too late to change course," Sarah responded, feeling Sentinel's agreement. "The galaxy needs both preservation and progress, structure and evolution. We need to work together, not fight each other." The crystalline sections of the Horizon's Edge pulsed with gentle light, no longer threatening but inviting. Through their shared connection, Sentinel conveyed a new possibility: a future where preservers, guardians, and humans could all contribute their unique strengths to guide the galaxy's development. Sci-fi of Fair Indies, Sentinel projected to all ships. New Sci-fi begins. Preservation through progression. Stability through change. The preserver ships powered down their weapons. One by one, their crews began to witness the miracle that had occurred aboard the Horizon's Edge. Human technology and Guardian Matrix hadn't just coexisted. They had created something greater than either could have achieved alone. "Your ship," the Preserver Commander observed with wonder, "it's not just a hybrid of technologies. It's a symbol of what's possible when we stop fearing difference and start embracing it." Sarah smiled, feeling the truth of those words resonate through every crystalline corridor of her transformed ship. "That's humanity's greatest strength," she said. "We've never been afraid to reach out, to change, to become something new. And now we can help others do the same." The next few hours were filled with careful negotiations. The preservers agreed to end their hunt for Guardian artifacts and survivors. Instead, they would work with Sentinel and the humans to establish a new council, one dedicated to balancing preservation and progress throughout the galaxy. As the last details were settled, Sarah stood in the cargo bay, now a cathedral-like space where crystal and metal merged in breathtaking patterns. Sentinel's physical form had become one with the ship, but their mental connection remained strong. Humans, AEVD more than one Guardian today, Sentinel communicated. Saved entire Galxy from stagnation. Showed NEWPATH. We just did what humans do best, Sarah replied, running her hand along a crystalline wall that hummed with friendly recognition. We adapted. We evolved. We reached out to someone in need without fear of the consequences. Precise HFY Galaxy needs humanity, not just for strength or wisdom, for courage to CHANG. The Horizon's Edge was no longer just a salvage vessel. It had become the first of a new kind of ship, a living symbol of cooperation between species. As news of what happened here spread, other human ships would undergo similar transformations, each creating unique bonds with guardian matrices. The age of fear and isolation was ending. Sarah gazed out at the stars through a crystalline viewport, feeling the combined strength of human spirit and guardian power thrumming through the ship. They had done more than save one ancient being. They had opened a door to a future where different species and technologies could work together in ways previously unimaginable. So, she said to her crew and to Sentinel, where should we explore first? The response came not just from the Guardian or her human crew, but from the very essence of their hybrid ship, a sense of boundless possibility and adventure. Together, they had become something new, something that could help guide the galaxy toward a brighter future. And this was just the beginning. The stars beckoned, promising new discoveries, new challenges, and new opportunities for cooperation. The Horizon's Edge, now a living testament to the power of trust and adaptation, prepared to lead the way into a new era of galactic evolution. Humanity had proven itself not just ready for the cosmic stage, but essential to its future development. After all, who better to guide the galaxy's growth than those who had never stopped growing themselves?